What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my brand new video. I've done this before. I'm doing it again because The Last Jedi is here and I get to rank that. My ranking of my favorite Star Wars movies. We're talking strictly live action. I'm not including the animated movies, the animated series, or the Star Wars Christmas specials. They don't deserve a place on this list. No, I thought I would keep it simple and just talk about the ones that the mainstream audience has seen. That's why I am including an Ewok adventure. Just kidding. And before I get started with this list that I'm very excited to talk about, Stardust is an app where you can react and review trailers and movies, and you can do 30-second videos, and you can comment on other people's videos. It's just so much fun. Even if you don't follow me, please download that, get on there, and have a blast because it is so awesome. Also, next week, I'm working on my most anticipated for 2018 and my best and worst of 2017. Be on the lookout for that. Right now, we are talking Star Wars, and I am so excited to count down these 9 movies. So, number 9, Star Wars Attack of the Clones. This is one of those movies that, you know, the first time I watched it, I'm like, man, this has something. And then I keep watching it, and I keep seeing the flaws, and then there's this scene.
I don't like Sam.
And the more I listen to it, the more I get hurt, physically and emotionally. You know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I can find great things in all Star Wars movies, and this movie has its moments. I just think it has less moments than other Star Wars films, and I think that there's just things in there that really make fans of this franchise angry, such as horrible dialogue, some questionable CGI, some pointless lightsaber fights, so on and so forth.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
What's the point of this? Star Wars The Phantom Menace, 4-year-old Austin loved this movie. He also loved Jar Jar Binks. If I could travel back in time and just talk to myself and say, hey buddy, yeah, that's the worst character in Star Wars, I would have done it by now. Really does bring this movie down a lot, and this movie's rewatchability factor, I think about half of the film does not hold up, but there are things in here to like. I think The Phantom Menace brings us one of the greatest lightsaber battles of all time, with one of the best John Williams scores, Duel of the Fates. Oh my gosh, if you haven't somehow watched The Phantom Menace, I'm assuming if you're watching this video you have, just go listen to that song over and over and over. I believe it's about 8 minutes long. I have listened to it a lot. Like I said, great things in a movie that as a whole it's not very good. Now, the best of the prequel trilogy, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, is next up on this list. And I know it's low on the list. I know it's pretty far down there. I did grow up with this movie. It was like primetime age for me. I was 11 years old. I loved watching this in the theater, and I loved the character dynamics. On rewatch, I think there are some jokes that do not hold up. I think there are some moments that are just kind of iffy, and some of the dialogue is once again atrocious, but it holds back on that really bad dialogue, and it fixes some problems I have with the other 2 movies. I think this is George Lucas's best of the prequels, and I think it gets a lot of things right. Such as the finale, the ending battles, and the moments where Anakin goes and he slaughters children. What a fun family moment. Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Now, a lot of people say that Return of the Jedi is their favorite Star Wars movie, and you know what? I don't blame you one bit. This is a really, really good movie, and it's got some great moments in it, some very climactic moments. It was the end of the original trilogy. It was a movie that people had to wait on for a long time. Imagine waiting that long and not seeing all of the online marketing and not knowing all the behind the scenes like we do with the internet. That would be horrible. But I really like a lot of aspects of the movie. I just think there's some things in there like the Ewoks and a little bit of the cheesiness towards the end, some of the songs that I don't think really work. But as a whole, Return of the Jedi is a good movie.
I don't like Sam.
Rogue One is one of those movies that when I first watched it, I thought I would like it less and less the more I watched it, but actually the more I watch it, the more I like it. I was a little bit lukewarm after I first saw Rogue One and I actually had a chance to sit down and think about it. But that third act, man, one of the best third acts in Star Wars history, some of the best moments in Star Wars history, and that Darth Vader scene, you guys have seen it, you've watched it 1,000 times on YouTube. What more can I say? It's a little long, and I kind of miss John Williams' score in there, but you have to make exceptions, and John Williams can't do this forever. Rogue One is a very solid Star Wars movie, and I really like it. Star Wars The Force Awakens. Here is where this list gets controversial. I, for one, don't see the controversy. Every time I watch this movie, I like it a little bit more. I think there's some of the most gorgeous cinematography. I think the directing is handled oh so well, and some of the dialogue is the best we've ever gotten in Star Wars. Sure, it's a bit of a retread, but history repeats itself. I think that's what The Force Awakens did. Sure, there's some plot points that are similar, but there's also plot points that are really different, and we get different characters, and characters that we know and love, and characters that people are so excited to see in The Last Jedi, and I think we can attribute that to The Force Awakens. Also, Han Solo dies. Just spoiled it for you, all you people who haven't watched it, who clicked on this video for some reason. I guarantee there's one. There has to be one that I just offended. Somebody in there. Quick heads up, for my Last Jedi portion, I will be in a different place in different clothing, so don't be confused. Take it away, Austin. What's up, guys? If you watched my review, Devin did that with me. He's doing this with me, too. We are placing The Last Jedi on my list, and we have come to this point. Yes, it is very high up, but I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. Devin, what did you think about it, just in case they haven't watched the review?
Well, if you haven't watched the review, go and watch the review. But just to be short, sweet to the point, it was absolutely amazing.
Plus,
everybody, please go and watch it. You will not be disappointed.
You will not. You might think some things are going to happen that don't happen, but this is a movie that takes chances and it makes mistakes. I was just quoting
Makes mistakes.
Magic School Bus. Take chances, make mistakes.
Take chances, make mistakes.
Okay, it doesn't make that many mistakes, but Rian Johnson does something very different with this Star Wars movie, something that I really enjoyed. We've had some time to let it sink in, and I think this is the perfect place on my list. It may go up, it may go down, but right now, I am putting it at number 3 on my list of favorite Star Wars movies. Star Wars A New Hope, the one that started it all. There's not much I can say about this movie that hasn't been said. You know, maybe you can watch this movie and say, oh, it's a little slow in these parts, but every single moment in this movie is iconic. Every scene, every line of dialogue, everything that happens is something special, and I love the start of the blockbuster era. A lot of people say Jaws. I think it's Star Wars A New Hope. I think Jaws is maybe a better movie, but I think this is what started the blockbuster, and I can only imagine how people felt coming out of that theater in 1977 watching this movie for the first time. It had to be incredible. It barely beats it, but The Empire Strikes Back, shocker. I mean, come on, everybody says this, but you can't. It's just such a good movie. It's in my top 5 ever. I will be doing that video eventually, and this movie is going to be in there. Now, where it is specifically, I don't know, but this brings everything to the table. You have the introduction of Yoda. You have Luke going on his separate adventure. You have Han Solo doing what Han Solo does best, and Leia, a very strong female character. Of course, R2-D2 and C-3PO get their moments. Everybody in this film has a moment, and every storyline and plot point has a twist that is handled so well. Every aspect of this movie, I know I've said every a lot, but it all works so good, and you watch it again, and you see things you've never seen before. I have seen this movie probably 50 times, and all 50 times I have noticed, whether it's a line of dialogue or something in the background, I just love every part of this movie. The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars film of all time.
I don't like sand.
So there it is, boys, my updated rankings of Star Wars movies. You like them? I like them. I don't know what's wrong with me. But here's the part of the video where I say the thing that you expect me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Be sure to comment your thoughts. Give me your ranking. Let's start a conversation below. I want to know, what are your all's lists? I love lists. I'm a big fan of lists. I have like 250 IMDb lists. I have individual years where I've ranked every movie I've watched from that year. So I'm a big fan. So I love seeing your guys' lists. So if you have them, put them in the comments down below. Let's start a conversation. I am okay. If you put Attack of the Clones at number 1, I'm okay with that. That's awesome. All movies are subjective. If you are a fan of Star Wars, you are a fan of Star Wars. We are in this together, and it's a great time to be living in. Bring on Han Solo. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, liking this video. You guys, I say it all the time, but you are the absolute best. Stick around for my best list, my worst list, my most anticipated. So much coming out, and of course, some more movie reviews. I will catch you guys later.